Is it okay now? Okay, it's pretty good for now, so I can use this one. I'm gonna put it over here. No, smaller. Maybe like this. And then put it like that. Put it like this. Yeah, this version is pretty good. Yeah, but I should. I mean, yeah, okay, I'm gonna use this format. Just let me edit for a little bit. Make it a little smaller. It's lagging when I wait. So that one should be somewhere here. Then I'm gonna put this one again. This. Yep, it's gonna be pretty good for now. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty good for now. Okay, so I'm gonna get started with this video. I should have this one on. It's gonna be somewhere here. I'm trying to make it as good as I can in my ability. Alright. Okay, it's good for now. So let's get started. Okay, so I have a confession to make. I feel bad about flying. And no, I'm not the only one here. I love to travel, but I know it's hurting our environment. When I was 6 years old, I moved to Taiwan. My family, we boarded a regional jet in Iowa, and 30 hours later, we stepped off a 747 in Taiwan. And planes has taken us halfway across the globe. And I felt the wonder of a new world. Air travel, it builds bridges and it connects us. It takes families and people to new lives and new experience. But it also comes with a cost to our climate. When I first started focusing on the aviation sector, I quickly learned that aviation accounts for about 2% of global CO2 emissions. And while that number may seem small, it could grow to 20% by 2015, which is 50 if no action is taken. And for those of us that do fly regularly, it can be the biggest component of our individual carbon footprint. That chip I took when I was 6. If I were to make the same chip today, I would have to be a vegetarian for nearly 4 years to make up for the carbon and other emissions from that chip. And so that's why I'm conflicted. It's also why I'm working with the aviation sector to figure out how to decarbonize as soon as possible. The next thing I learned is this: decarbonizing aviation is no easy task. Traditional jet fuel is so very good at its job. It's cheap, it's energy dense, and because of that, engines, airplanes, airports, fuel supply chains, and regulations, they are all built on flying planes from point A to point B that run on jet fuel. And those planes that run on jet fuel, they are operated for 20 to 30 years on average before they're retired. That means the plane that ordered today will fly until around 2050, so we can't get there on engines and airplanes alone. If we want any hope of reaching our global of zero emissions, we need to find a mix of solutions now. There's three broad buckets that we need to address. The first is how we design and fly planes. The second are the fuel that we use, namely biofuel, to power those planes. And the third is new and emerging technology that can entirely change the game. Let's start with how we design the planes. Well, the basic design of a plane doesn't change much from one generation to the next. Improvement and aerodynamics reduction in cabin weight, and even improved engine efficiency mean each generation in of aircraft is about 20% more fuel efficient than the last. Now that's great, but turnover is low, and so there's more we can do. We can also fly planes differently. Flying planes differently mean changes to airport management, to air traffic control, even individual pilot behavior. If a plane sits on the runway for less time before takeoff, we can reduce emissions. If a plane takes more direct route instead of flying around national borders, reduce emissions. And if individual pilots don't gun it at takeoff, we can also reduce emissions. Now, these changes they may sound easy, but they're not. We all know that individual behavior change it doesn't always stick, and changes to airport and air traffic management that's a really long march. My team is estimates that if we really prioritize designing and flying planes differently, we could reduce 2050 carbon dioxide emissions by 30 to 40%. We need to do this, but we need more. We also need biofuels, and for biofuels or bio-based sustainable aviation fuel, you need and for biofuels or bio-based and for biofuel or bio-based sustainable, we also need biofuels, and for biofuels or bio-based wait, we also need biofuels, and for biofuels or bio-based and for biofuels or bio-based and and for bio we need more. We also need biofuels, and for biofuels or bio-based we also need biofuels, and for biofuels or bio-based sustainable aviation fuel. Okay, I get it. We also need biofuels, and for biofuels or bio-based sustainable aviation fuel, you need funding and you need feedstock. Let's start with feedstock. Biofuels are based on Biofuels are based on biological sources like grains and oil seeds, forestry residues, used cooking oil, even municipal solid waste. You can take trash and convert it into fuel in a way that meaningfully reduces emissions. But there's a catch. There's only so much forestry residues, and there's only so much land that should be converted to grow crops or fuel without impacting global food supply chains. And that funding biofuel is expensive. They're more expensive than the traditional jet fuel and could raise the price to consumers by 10 to 20%. And we need a massive initial investment to build a production facility to meaningfully supply the sector. It's a classic chicken and egg problem. Because the prices are high, there's no demand. And because there's no demand, there's no supply. And because there's no supply, prices are coming down, and so there's no demand. And on and on and on. Thankfully, we're finally starting to break the cycle. The European Commission recently proposed an alternative. Wait, I need to. The European Commission recently proposed an alternative. The European Commission recently proposed an alternative fuels that mandates of 5% by 20 of 5% by 2030 and 20% by 2035. and there's even pressure to accelerate that. A far cry from the 0.05% a far cry from the a far cry from the 0.01% of biofuels usage we were at in 2018. My team estimates that if we were to really focus on biofuels, we could further reduce 2050 CO2 emissions by 10 to 30%. That leaves us with a gap of 30%. That's not good enough. It doesn't get us to our goal, and it certainly doesn't approve me of my goal when I consider it a plan. The third bucket of things we need lies in breakthrough innovation and inventions. You have synthetic fuel, with which, like biofuels, work with existing engine technology and airplane design. Synthetic fuels or kerosene actually take carbon dioxide from the air, combine it with hydrogen that is quickly separated from water to produce fuel. They sound amazing, but it's really early days. It's small batch and it's expensive. And then you have hybrid electric aircraft, small planes that run on batteries. By 2050, these planes could fly for short distances. And then the hydrogen, green hydrogen. There are hydrogen fuel cell batteries that run on hydrogen combustion engines that use hydrogen as fuel. This also show promise, and we need to continue to invest in them. This new fuel pair really well with new aircraft design, like the blended wing body. There's no clear between the main body and the wings of aircraft. This plane could be at least 20% more fuel efficient than the traditional aircraft, and they create opportunity to rethink where fuel is stored, so we can use new energy resources like hydrogen. Now, some of the innovations that work, and some may not. We may need to rely on high quality removals like carbon capture and storage. What is clear that if we want any hope of getting to zero emissions, we we will need some of these potentially other technologies. There are challenges. The challenge ensuring the safety of these technologies, investing billions and billions of dollars to build the production facilities and supply chains for biofuels and synthetic fuels, and making sure that each and every country does its part. If it sounds hard, that's because it's hard, but it's not impossible. I think we can get it done. The hard work is already starting. The sector innovating, investing, and collaborating. And the hard work, it needs to continue, and it needs to intensify. Wait. Stop here. I need to rejoin my Google Meet again. So. No, stop. Okay, never mind. And while that work happens, I remain conflicted. I want to travel. Wait. I want to travel. I want to see friends and family and colleagues. And so there's a few things I do. I ask myself, do I really need to make that trip? I work with my company to advocate for biofuel, to try to break the chicken and egg cycle, and I try to fly on a more climate-friendly and fuel-efficient airlines. We all know that individual choices can drive collective action. This sector, like many others, is one where the entire industry has to work together if we want to reach a goal. Thank you. It seems pretty good right now because I just returned to Google Meet. So, you know. So I'm testing with this one right now. Okay, it's good. This is the good one, but like, I wanna do the another one because I have so much time now. I don't know like which topic should I go right now. Just let me. Do we have any topic? I think we have, but like So we have activation. Oh, maybe I'm gonna go with the code. I don't know what that course is about, this one, but yeah. Wait a minute. This caption is so bad. Or maybe it captures my words, but it's too slow. I don't know. Depends. Why the... Okay, so this one is good. The illuminating benefits of video games. Or I can go with this one, the next universal language. Or I can go with talk about the core stuff. Maybe I'm gonna go with this one, the pioneering woman who helped create modern computing. This one's good. I mean, like, I don't know, but like the title of the video is good. But the title of the video is good. But the title of the video was good. Oh, okay. I think that I can figure out the difference between there. But like, we don't have any transcript. We don't. Holy cow! I mean, like, I need the transcript to like repeat what she said. But if I don't have this one, wait, is it video on YouTube? Really? So I'm gonna turn on the captions. Hope this can help. I think that I should like redo this one rather than continue with this one. I'm gonna try if I can, because the Wi-Fi is so bad right now. I hate it. Oh. Read transcript. We don't have transcript in here, so yeah. I have a confession to make. I'm gonna redo this one. But maybe I'm gonna make it like slower. This one. Okay. I have a confession to make. I feel bad about flying. And I know I'm not the only one here. I love to travel, but I know it's hurting our environment. When I was 6 years old, I moved to Taiwan. My family, we boarded a regional jet in Iowa, and 30 hours later we stepped off a 747 in Taiwan. Airplanes has taken us halfway across the globe, and I felt the wonder of a new world. Air travel, it builds bridges and it connects us. Wait, here this one. Oh, it builds bridges and it connects us. Connects us. It builds bridges and it connects us. It takes families and people to new lives and new experience. experiences, but it also comes with a cost to our climate. When I first started focusing on the aviation sector, I quickly learned that aviation accounts for about 2% of global CO2 emissions. And while that number may seem small, it could grow to 20% by 2050 if no action is taken. And for those of us that do fly regularly, it can be the biggest component of our individual carbon footprint. That trip I took when I was 6, if I were to take the same trip today, I would have to be vegetarian for nearly 4 years to make up for the carbon and other emissions from that trip. And so that's why I'm conflicted. And it's also why I'm working with the aviation sector to figure out how to decarbonize as soon as possible. The next thing I learned is this: decarbonizing aviation is no easy task. Traditional jet fuel is so very good at its job. It's cheap and it's energy dense. And because of that engines, airplanes, airports, fuel supply chains, and regulations, they are all built on flying planes from point A to point B that run on jet fuel. And those planes that run on jet fuel, they are operated for 20 to 30 years on average before they retired. That means a plane that ordered today will be flying until around 2050. So we can't get there on engines and airplanes alone if we want any hope of reaching our goal of zero emissions. We need to find a mix of solutions now. There's three broad buckets we need to address. The first is how we design and fly planes. The second are the fuels that we use, namely biofuel to power supply. And the third is new and emerging technology that can entirely change the game. Let's start with how we design the planes. Well, basic design of a plane doesn't change much from one generation to the next. Improvements in aerodynamic reductions in carbon weight and even improved engine efficiency means that each generation of aircraft is about 20% more fuel efficient than the last. Now that's great, but turnover is low. There's more we can do. We can also fly planes differently. Flying planes differently means changes to airport management, to air traffic control, even individual pilot behavior. If if a plane sit on a runway for less time before takeoff, we can reduce emissions. If a plane takes more direct route instead of flying around national borders, we reduce emissions. And if individual pilots don't get it at takeoff, we can also reduce emissions. Now, these changes, they may sound easy, but they're not. We all know that individual behavior change. It doesn't always stick, and changes to airports and air traffic management, that's a really long march. My team estimates that if we were to really prioritize designing and flying planes differently, we could reduce 2050 carbon dioxide emissions by 30 to 40%. We need to do this. We need to do this. We need to do this. But we need more. We also need biofuels. And for biofuels or bio-based sustainable aviation fuel, you need funding and you need feedstock. Let's start with feedstock. Biofuels are based on biological sources like grains and oil seeds, forestry residue, used cooking oil, even municipal solid waste. You can take trash and convert it to fuel in a way that meaningfully reduces emissions. But there's a catch. There's only so much forestry residues, and there's only so much land that can or should be converted to grow crops for fuel without impacting global food supply chains. And there's funding. Biofuels are expensive. They're more expensive than traditional jet fuel, and to raise ticket prices to consumers by 10 to 20%. And we need a massive initial investment to build the production facilities to meaningfully supply the sector. It's a classic chicken and egg problem. Because prices are high, there's no demand. And because there's no demand, there's no supply. And because there's no supply, prices aren't coming down, and so there's no demand. And on and on and on. Thankfully, we finally starting to break the cycle. The European Commission recently proposed an alternative fuels mandate of 5% by 2030 and 20% by 2035, and there's even pressure to accelerate that. A far cry from the 0.01% of biofuels usage that we were at in 2018. My team estimate that as if we were really to vote on biofuels, we could further reduce 2050 CO2 emissions by 10 to 30%. That leaves us with a gap of 30%. That's not good enough. It doesn't get us to our goals, and it certainly doesn't absolve me of my guilt when I consider getting on a plan. The third bucket of things we need lies in breakthrough, innovation, and invention. You have synthetic fuel, which, like biofuels, work with existing engine technology and which biofuels work with existing engine Wait, I need this one. Oxford Dictionary. Can you stop for a little bit? I gotta engine. I gotta know the IPA of this one, because I really need to make this right, because I really want to make this pronunciation correct. Engine. Engine. Chin. Engine. Chin. Engine. Okay. Where is it? Where am I right now? Okay. The third bucket of things we need lies in breakthrough, innovation, and invention. You have synthetic fuel, which, like biofuels, work with existing engine technology and airplane design. Synthetic fuels or e-kerosene actually take carbon dioxide from the air, combine it with hydrogen that's cleanly separated from water. Combine it with hydrogen that's cleanly separated from water to produce fuel. The science is amazing, but it's really early days. It's small batch and it's expensive. And then you have hybrid electric and electric aircraft, small planes that run on batteries. By 2050, These planes could fly for short distances. And then there's hydrogen, green hydrogen. There's hydrogen fuel cells batteries that run on hydrogen or hydrogen combustion engines that use hydrogen as fuel. These are also show promise, and we need to continue to invest in them. This new fuel pairs really well with new aircraft design, like blended wing body. There's no clear dividing line between the main body and the wings of the aircraft. These planes could be at least 20% more fuel efficient than traditional aircraft, and they create the opportunity to rethink where fuel is stored so we can use new energy sources like hydrogen. How? Some of the innovations they'll work, and some may not. We may need to rely on high quality removals. Wait. Removal. We may need to rely on high quality removals like carbon capture and storage. What is clear is that if we want any hope of getting to zero emissions, we will need some of these and potentially other technologies. There are challenges. Ensuring the safety of these technologies, investing billions and billions of dollars to build the production facilities and supply chains for biofuels and synthetic fuels, and making sure that each and every country does its part. If it sounds hard, that's because it is hard, but it's not impossible. I think we can get it done. The hard work is already starting. The sector is innovating and investing and collaborating. And that hard work, it needs to continue. Wait, that hard work and that hard work is need to continue. Wait. Continue. And that's hard work. It needs to continue, and it needs to intensify. Wait. Intensify. And it needs to intensify. And while that hard work happens, I'll remain conflicted. I want to travel. I want to see friends and family and colleagues. And so there's a few things I do. I ask myself, do I really need to make that trip? I work with my company to advocate for biofuels, to try to break the chicken and egg cycle. And I try to fly on the most climate friendly and fuel efficient airlines. We all know that individual choices can drive collective action. This sector, like many others, is one where the entire industry has to work together if we want to reach our goal. Wait, this one. Oh, if we want to reach our goal, our industry has to work together. If we want to reach our goal, if we want to reach our goal, if we want to reach our goal. Thank you. Oh my God, I think that I believe that my pronunciation is really bad. I need to practice more. But yeah, but this topic, you know what, I really want to understand the whole story of this one, because like when I focus on the pronunciation, I didn't pay so much attention on the content of the video, so yeah, but I need to listen to it, hear it again, and then to like understand more about the story that she's talking about. Yeah, it's good. So how about this one? Should we try on this one? They have the transcription. Alright, I think that I can try this one because before I can end this speaking. A few years ago. Wait. It's not. No. A few years ago, I started on a ship that comes from earlier era. When moving goods, it didn't mean polluting planet. I avoided a Caribbean eye-opening and it's because I learned that apparently I'm curious. I also was like when they take away the diesel fuel fumes and black smoke that prevent from today breather and sports. Instead of vessel smell like fresh sea breath and the bag of carbon that we carried. And I came nearly every modern cargo ship relies on highly polluting fossil fuel. Fortunately, there's a way to clear the injury beyond just reviving old-fashioned sailing ships, and it's green ammonia. If you know anything about ammonia, it's probably that it's stinky, it's toxic, it's potentially explosive, so it's a great place to start, right? Ammonia is mainly used today to make chemicals and fertilizers, but for many reasons. Industry experts are convinced that ammonia could be a game-changing way to drive churn cargo shipment that could be too steadily and be cost competitive. Tens of thousands of freighters could cross the ocean every day, bringing the food we eat, the clothes we wear, the car we drive. Container ships alone carry some $4 trillion worth of goods by sea every year. That's really the GDP of Germany. At the same time, the shipping industry commits a significant share of the world's initial greenhouse gas emissions. If shipping will continue, it will be the sixth largest emission of CO2, trailing just behind Japan. And as world and economies grow, as populations rise, shipping emissions are expected to soar unless the industry charts to clean. So green ammonia really first climbed to emission 2017 at the UN Climate Change Convention in Portugal. At the panel I attended, ammonia seemed kind of like a sign of something we could get stops on. Since then, the industry had really collaborated ammonia as the dominant shipping fuel. Chemical companies and investors are spending millions of dollars to build green ammonia plants, and shipbuilders and manufacturers are busy developing the necessary technology. The first ammonia-powered ships are just around the corner. So what's so special about this project gas? Well, to start, ammonia doesn't contain any carbon molecules. It doesn't contain carbon dioxide when it's used to fuel. Instead, it contains 1 part nitrogen, which is the main component of air, and 3 parts hydrogen, which is putting block of water. It's possible to make ammonia without using any fossil fuel. That makes it green ammonia. Think of it like this: instead of the oil wells and petroleum refiners that make today dirty fuel, picture solar panels, or wind turbines, or hydrogen plants. Renewable electricity is the foundation of this whole ammonia making audio. We can start with electrolysis, which is the renewables can power the process that separates nitrogen from air. And so with our hydrogen and nitrogen, we can combine the two in an additional process at high temperatures to make energy and ammonia. Now if you want to use this ammonia to power your 1,000-foot long breeder, you have the two options. The first is internal combustion engine. So similar how to diesel fuel for today, but with certain modification. It's worth saying that the first vessel to use ammonia in the engine will be chemical takers because they really carry in the cargo hold. So be all the adopters. The next option is to use fuel cells. Fuel cells create electricity through chemical reaction, and that's right to ship motors turns the propellers. In Norway, working on the way to launch the world's first ammonia fuel ship in just a few years' time. So you can make green ammonia, we can use it in fuel cells or engine. The final piece of material the infrastructure, the storage facilities, the pipelines, everything that needed to ensure the kids can fill the plane that we can work. And of this is particularly novel because we already have infrastructure for the chemical and fertilizer industries. Neptune needs to be built near ports and a global scale, and with precaution. So we need to make ammonia mainstream. We can draw a route parallel to ride electric cars. A decade ago, about 7,000 EVs were on the road while supporting manufacturers to build up charging infrastructures. And as climate and production boomed, the cost of batteries and other components 10 million, and green ammonia could follow a similar path in the shipping industry. Policies to curb emissions and incentivize green investment could spur a step away from fossil fuel. And as ammonia catches on, fuel prices and technology cause some declining step, enabling more ship operators to make the switch. And while all that happening, a much bigger story will be playing out on the global scale. The accelerating development and plugging cost of renewable energy supplies, trend offshore wind farms, supporting solar arrays and other technologies could provide the electrons needed to make them green ammonia. Green ammonia might be the main fuel source of the likely combination of two. Batteries can really power the lights and equipment on giant ships. Certainly small vessels can be fully battery powered today. Design fixes like sympathetic holes and dolphin-like flippers can improve ship efficiency. Another technology that quickly gains traction is called wind assisted propulsion, which put a modern twist on an old idea of high speed. One current ship I sailed on in the North Sea used a device called rotor sail. This 60-foot tall tube that spins around like hyperactive power pole, which produces four thrusters and reduces demand on diesel engine. It's really exciting to see this thing with a wow, but it's funny how most guys say the crew was about the whole thing. They push a button, the tubes spring to life, the ship fuel, and they can carry on their normal tasks that they sail from Rotterdam to this industrial eyesore in northern England and back again. Meanwhile, of course, I spend my time admiring the sails and then curling up in the fetal position. The maritime industry was is the long of last week connecting cotton field to factories and bringing blueberries from one side to other. Coal-powered steamships made it possible to travel farther and faster, and diesel engines took it into overdrive. Began in early 20th century, a humble cannonball pulling along with its tiny engine, and since become giant container ships that stretch along as skyships stand tall. We know that the planet from pointing further we was completely transformed the way we power or harm our car. The afraid that brings us to our stuff. The shipping industry must try to rein the world in addressing climate change. And they could do that with the help of green ammonia. Thank you so much. Oh my god. I mean like this video is like she used so much advanced words and also she used so much advanced words and her speed is so fast that I feel like I can't even capture her speech. Yeah, I mean like I was like what the fuck is she saying and what the fuck is she talking about? Yeah, I mean like I don't even have the time to get the knowledge into my head. I only have the time to read the words. That's what I have. And yeah, and this caption is still bad for me. I mean like my pronunciation is still bad, which means I need to practice more. But yeah, I'm thirsty right now, so this is the end of this speaking. See you tomorrow.